All right, man. We are back, man. It's a beautiful time of the year, Tiflebot. It's the middle, it's the beginning of winter, and we can stay at the house and see something streaming. We talked about The Witcher Blood Origin a while ago when we saw the Michelle Yeoh, trailer. And it finally came out. So, we like The Witcher, we love Michelle Yeoh. How could you go wrong? Let's roll.
Okay.
So here we go. TV miniseries, which is something that caught me off guard. I expected it to be a movie.
Oh, I knew it was episodes.
Oh, so
I thought it was 3 episodes though.
no, I thought the conversation was different. Anyway, so 2022. So it came out right at the end of Christmas or something like that. Like that last, I think last week.
Yeah,
TV
sometimes
mature.
time is meaningless. TV
And,
mature.
action adventure drama. More than 1,000 years before the events of The Witcher, seven outcasts in an elven world join forces to in a quest. So always got to be a quest against an all-powerful empire. So
hmm
that's the synopsis, man. 4 episodes. And who's in this thing, Tiff? Says I guess just a few of the people, since there's 1,000 people in this
Yeah,
thing.
there's a lot of people. So Sophia Brown,
Yes.
Lawrence O'Farren. Sorry, that was hard for me to say. Mirren Mack,
Yeah.
Lenny Henry,
Mhm.
Jacob Collins Levy, Joey Beatty. That's Jaskier. He's in it for 2 seconds. Minnie
My favorite
Driver.
character. My favorite character.
I like Minnie Driver.
Oh, not Ben
Uh,
Driver. I'm Jasper. Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh. There's some other people. I definitely want to shout out to Dylan Moran. It was one of my favorite people ever, and he's in it very briefly. He's the guy that comes to help them. He's the guy that the one ball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's
I
my he,
I don't
he
know who that guy is.
Oh, he's like well, you would have seen him in Shaun of the Dead. He's the boyfriend with the glasses.
Oh, that's all you had to say. I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he's in
yeah.
a bunch of other stuff that I like too, and I've seen him do comedy live as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
hmm
So, man, before we go any further, it's the most interesting time for me, especially with this
Sorry.
movie. It's time for one. Word!
This is gonna be a weird one word.
Oh, okay. How weird could it be?
I have to just say because I didn't think it was bad. Like I wasn't like in love with it,
Gotcha.
but I wasn't miserable while I was watching it. I thought parts of it were quite enjoyable.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
I'm surprised about how much people have disliked it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
It seems like a pretty typical, I guess maybe I should say typical. It's a very kind of a typical adventure
But let me
story.
say this, Tifflebot. I've seen a lot worse shit on Netflix, but
Yeah, I'm
that
confused
didn't get this
by
kind
the
of hate.
hatred for it. What's your before we get too deeply into that, what is your one word?
Distracted.
Distracted.
I was easily distracted watching this.
Really? Okay.
I kept finding myself picking up my phone. I kept looking at other stuff. Yeah, I've seen worse. This did not really hold my interest,
hmm
but I've seen a lot worse. That something new that we're starting is we're doing the Rotten Tomato score, and I got it right here, Tifflebot. The Rotten Tomato score is 32%, audience score 13.
Damn. Okay, you guys, that's not 13% bad.
No, 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 no,
I,
no.
I just I sometimes think that, and here's the thing. Obviously, this is just my opinion. This is one
Yes,
drop in the bucket, so what do I know?
yes,
But
yes.
like, I do sometimes think that there's a bit of a poisoning of the well situation,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
someone gets there first and is like, "This is trash. This is
No,
trash.
no, no, no,
This
Tifflebot.
is
Again,
trash."
the actual base of the base of the base fan base of The Witcher with Netflix, it's full revolt.
There's some, yeah. So like, it's kind of hard to
Yep,
say
yep.
because if you were okay, I like to
But
take my I like to,
the
well,
critics are not fans of the base, and they only gave it a 32%. So
sure, but 32%. I feel like this is a 50%.
I
You know
would
what I
agree
mean?
with you.
And
I
I
would
feel
agree
like
with you.
critics tend
I
to
would
go
agree with you.
lower even when something's really good.
I would agree with you.
Um and I kind of think of like the barometer for me is, this is a really weird thing, is like my mom
Mhm.
who would never know anything about what the internet is saying about anything.
Yeah.
And actually quite likes I grew up reading a lot of like science fiction fantasy novels because that's what my mom liked
My
to
mom
read.
too, and also comic books. That's why I became
Yeah.
a comic book fan. Yeah.
So like what was just laying around my house,
Yeah.
I would pick up and read. And I think so. So if I showed this to my mom,
Yeah.
I think she'd I think she'd like it. I think she
Okay.
would have no problem with it.
Here's the thing though.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad, but it was just okay.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know?
here's the thing, and I think I will also admit um that like just like everybody else who watches things,
Yes.
because I had already heard that it was bad, because we kind of decided to watch this because we'd heard it was so bad, and
Yeah.
not because we were like, oh, let's laugh at this
No, no,
horrible
no.
thing.
No, that's why I wanted to watch it because I was like, if it's
Right.
that bad, we're gonna have a ball on this thing. And
Right. It's either
I'm
going to be
like,
fun
it
or
ain't bad fun.
it's just you watch it and it's very much just like if you're I would think that if you were completely removed from The Witcher
Yeah,
and you weren't in any way
you might enjoy this.
trying to compare it to something like that, and you just were coming in to it not knowing anything, and you were just wanted to watch a science fiction, or I
Yeah,
mean fantasy kind of romp,
yeah,
you'd probably really enjoy it. There's really nice characters in it. They come together in a little group, which I always
yeah,
love, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Really like the dwarf is probably my favorite character.
Uh, well, I don't think I had a favorite character in this. Even Michelle Yeoh just walked around
Well,
being.
she's not in it much,
She was.
as much as you would think.
Yeah, her role was to be the mysterious stranger, and I don't know, Tiff. I just kept getting distracted. Like I wasn't. It didn't hold me like it
I
should.
will,
Because even being just 4 episodes, they
yeah.
wasted a lot of time with some
They
bullshit.
could have made this a movie. I think this could have been an hour and 45 minutes, two
Yep,
hours.
yep, yep.
Um, I don't, but I didn't. Maybe like as I'm coming in through like this, it was very kind of calming. Like you said, you were a little bit bored, and for me, I've been kind of more on edge these days. And so I think I had a very different response to this. It felt kind of good for me to watch because it was had
Familiar, but not, yet
action.
not.
Yeah, it had action, but it was also kind of soft.
Yeah,
High stakes, but a lot of what's happening to get to that high stakes situation is not as high stakes. Like the adventure stuff that they do together, like getting to the palace.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Um,
So
I
before we go further, let's hit those
Yeah.
spoilers, and we let's so we can get into it. Because it starts with our boy, man. You know, I love the lute player, man. You know, from
Yeah,
the original show,
Jaskier.
and I couldn't even tell if it was him or not. I was like, is that that? And then with the hat, I was like, he looked just like. And then I was like, oh, it is him.
Yeah, so have him like he's all dirty.
Right. But I like the fact that they did bring in a marquee character from the other show just to do the handshake.
Yeah, a little
You know.
handover. And
Yeah.
and even if you kind of like think about it, at first I was like, why do they even have to have this guy? But music and the power of the people through
The
like
story. Yeah.
through stories and the telling of stories is a very central theme in this show. It's undeniable. So his
100%.
presence there makes a lot of sense, and I do think that that's quite kind of clever intertwining of the, you know what I mean? Like if he had just been plopped in there, they could have
Yeah.
easily just been like, yeah, that's blah. But
Okay,
it
so
works into the whatever.
let me say this. When it first started, I was like, oh no. When the screen was upside down with the fight. I
I
was like,
I was
such
confused.
a obvious. I'm an artistic director. It's happened. We saw it in Smile. They kept doing the upside down shit.
Yeah, that was too much upside down. You're
Did
making
you
me
ever
sick.
stop? Right, just stop. It's not artistic. It's not like, ooh, stop. So anyway, so that happens, and you know, shit, this time stops, and you know, it sees him, sees the creature, then sees, you know, this elf, and so we go back in time, and it's elf times. Now, I don't know, Tiff. I thought everybody walking around with the elf ears, and elves just, I thought it was so unnecessary because they were like, normally elves are portrayed as being so regal, you know,
Hmm.
and in anything, you know, either regal or just one with the earth in the forest, you know. But in this one, they were just as pieces of shit as regular people. There was no
No, I
difference.
think that in a lot of fantasy there are a lot of piece of shit elves. There's also definitely different kinds of elves, obviously.
Yeah.
In this story they're kind of their own. So like I think, not to be a big nerd, but I think there's typically like that, what they say, the high elf, which would be
A
like
Lord of the Ring elf.
yes. And
Yep.
then there's forest elves,
Yep.
which is more like what you're probably kind of thinking of, a very natural, like a druid kind of living in
The
the woods.
Tom Cruise movie thing.
Half elves, of course.
Yeah.
Dark elves, which like live underground.
Like in Thor.
Yes, but there are like, that's been like a class, like D&D,
Yeah.
Forgotten Realms kind of stuff. So it's all different kinds. And so like here they're kind of represented. There's different clans of elves and they don't get along.
It was no different. If they didn't have them ears on, it would have been no different from any other,
Than a
like,
human.
right,
But
exactly.
that's fine. In this story, that's part of the maybe a bit of the catch is that like because they're trying if this had been like removed from The Witcher and was just like a story about elves or adventurers, I think it'd be a little bit different. But because they have to that is the story
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of the spheres. And so like yeah.
So we find our hero about to get the booty from the princess. He gets the booty from the
Mm-hmm.
princess. He gets busted with the quickness and gets thrown out. And then we find the lark out there singing, and she has a nice voice, and so
Yeah.
that was good. I was like, well, at least they're not sitting there talking about, oh, she sounds so good and it's terrible, because even like in The Witcher, with Jasper, man, with he sounds like a show tune singer in real life. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think he does. I think he sings in real life.
Yeah, of course. Well, shit, he sounds he's a show tune singer 100%.
Hmm.
Um, and so I was like, this is cool. And she beats up the person and said, and I like what she says when she's like, I just don't like rude people, So, we get this build up, and then like they go to jail, and then somebody try to come get out of jail, and then they're blood enemies, but then now we're gonna go on a quest together because my sister was killed, and blah blah blah.
Because they were what they realized was that so there'd been the unifying unbeknownst to them.
Yeah, because it hadn't even happened yet. They sent assassins out them before.
Right, but they were like they were different clans working together. That's what initiated their suspicion.
Exactly. So yeah, right. So then this mass murder happened,
Hmm.
and the chick gets sick, and like I didn't even
I
pay
thought she was
attention.
going to be pregnant
Yeah, I did too.
with that dog. The dog clan was baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I was
thought
like, oh, she's pregnant, and
yeah.
then that was just a ruse. It never comes back.
So that was a surprise to me. It was she was a turncoat, but I was watching with my wife, and she was like, "She part of it." I was like, I need to get out of my phone while I'm watching this because I'm like half-ass watching it. And then the creature come down. I like the creature test.
I did too. I thought, see, here's, you're watching it the whole time and you're like, where is the part that people don't like? So I'm seeing the creature and I'm like, looks pretty good. And it's actually quite scary. Like at first I was like, why are they all screaming like that? Why don't they just fight him? Because it evaporates your ass. There is no fighting him.
And not only that, his skin was so tough, nothing was.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was
So they're just like screaming and
what
it's
are
just
you
like a
gonna do?
massacre.
Yeah, yeah. So
All the clans, like all the powerful parts of the clans.
and then the little prissy sister ended up being she was, the evil one behind it. So that was something you don't see every day. And she was with the
Hmm.
mage and with the captain of the guard, and they were all pieces of shit together, and made her a figurehead empress, but totally underestimated this damn
Yeah, in which she wasn't. She still even by her own esteem, like she thought she was great. They dismissed her, and she was kind of somewhere in between. Like I think even if this had played out where she had become successful,
yeah.
she just doesn't have. She didn't have it. She didn't have it.
Well, she was stupid because later on, she releases the mage out of jail, and it was like, you
Hmm.
fool, you fool. He didn't even earn his way out of jail.
Well, she needed him because they couldn't access the gate.
But he still didn't earn his way out of jail. So anyway, so now we got our two heroes, and they're on a quest together. They're gonna do this shit. We gotta, this because they hear the tale. They come to town and they hear the tale,
Mhm.
that she's a hot garbage. And what I do appreciate about this is that we didn't waste any time with she's a better person than this, the Darth Vader comeback.
Mhm.
You do all this evil shit, but then one conversation, you're back to the light. I'm so glad it didn't like go that route, because the dude was just like, it was a minute of him being like, she's not a piece of shit, but then it was like
I
everybody
guess
walking
she's a
around
piece of
telling you
shit.
she's a piece of shit, and she
Yep.
murdered your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, and she murdered your
That's
whole
what they said. They were
family.
like, she killed your sister. And they were
Right.
like, he was like, what? It was pretty immediate, which I thought was appropriate because that's
Right.
exactly how you'd react. Like if you were like, oh, they're the love of my life. And they're like, they stabbed your sister. You'd be like, holy shit. Unless
Funny
like your
enough,
sister was some kind of piece of
no, no, no,
shit.
no, no, no. Funny enough, I had that same conversation with my wife last night watching it. She watched it with me, and I was like, "Wow." I said, "Damn." We were talking about it. I was like, "Well, Tamika, if somebody told me you killed, if everybody in town was saying that you did all this evil shit, I'd have been like, I wonder why she did all this evil shit. I wouldn't be doubting saying, no, not her. I'd be like, why did she do this?
Well, like if the evidence corroborated it, right? Like if someone came up to you and was like, oh, so and so did this, you would be like, okay, no. But then you're like, well, I know everyone's dead.
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
everybody in the town was talking.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was like some secret.
Right. So like they
Dude,
kind of I
uh,
like see this is the kind of, and here's the thing.
yeah, yeah,
I must be soft towards this because there's nothing I love more than a gathering of ragtag individuals.
yeah,
I
that's your thing.
love Brother Death.
Yeah, yeah. Did you?
Yeah,
Um,
because I wanted to see more of him. I wanted to see why he was called Brother Death. They never really explained it.
they didn't. I think he was like, I mean, I had no affinity for him, but
Mhm.
I still was like, are they gonna show him like razzle dazzle and be
I
dope?
mean, he beats people up, but he's nothing
It
like
was nothing. It
the
was nothing.
best fighters are definitely like the other two.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh was the
Michelle
best.
Yeoh's great. I honestly thought that the dwarf was great. Like, I know that you
No,
whatever. I thought
what
her character was great. She had a great backstory.
the best thing
She
they did with her was have her beat up that whole house and didn't show it. It
yeah,
was, it
I
was
think that and
now
then
that was artistically done. I was
and
like,
they
oh,
did a
that's
great
nice.
job of her fighting later. I thought that it all I thought everything looked I honestly thought everything looked great in this movie, especially like the battle scenes. I mean obviously it's
It
Netflix,
was
they've
just
got
okay.
money.
It was just
But it
okay.
looks you can't deny that it looks good.
It looked okay. Yeah.
It looks good. You have seen things that looked like shit that you said looked good.
No, I disagree with you, but
Oh my god.
so anyway,
Whatever.
man, my two least favorite characters is the brother sister, Mage.
Oh, the like Nightborns or whatever that like they're just born at the same time. They're not related, but they're
Right.
at the born at the exact same time. Yeah.
Yeah, they was just like so everything about them, just was like oh whatever, So we only get one other creature in this thing, it pops out and they chop it in half, and we're gonna use the heart and we're gonna turn this guy
Hmm.
into, as we know, somebody's gonna be the Witcher. So the lady was supposed to do it, and um, I didn't see. I had a feeling he was gonna like beat her to it, the guy.
Yeah, because obviously they fell in love and it all made sense, you
Yeah, but
know.
I didn't see the falling in love thing happening until they did it.
It's just more horny, I think, was the thing.
They think so.
It was a little bit more horny than being in love, and then sometimes that's what happens afterwards.
Okay.
So you know, you kind of fall in love. Sometimes you're horny, and then you fall in love, and sometimes you fall in love, and then you're horny, and then sometimes
Yeah,
they just don't come together. But so then we get them. They're going to the town. Michelle Yeoh, they kind of have that kind of like she betrays them, but then it's actually a turn, so she kills
now
half their army or whatever.
I will say that was pretty good because for a moment there, I was wondering if she was betraying them
I
for
did
real.
too. I was like, she just wants to fuck him over.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I didn't see this coming, And then when she switched in that, in the alley, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, the people attacked. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, they got this plan. They attack. Everything is going right. I mean, I'm in and out. I mean, because it's like nothing just ain't nothing like really dope
I'll
happening.
say the last episode is maybe the hardest to get through, which is funny because it's when all of the action happens.
Yeah,
But I would have rather have seen them go on event. I would have rather have seen their adventures go on and have them fight different
oh no,
things.
they made sure this was shut down.
They were like,
Right. When he
poop.
tore the dude in half after the creature
Holy
died.
shit! So that's
Yeah.
that is Dylan. I'm
Yes.
pretty far. He they he's very. It's really weird because he is very much treated as kind of like a
A
guest
nobody.
spot in the
Oh yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But like that you like maybe that, but also I don't think anyone really. I mean, he's not so famous. I think in America anyway that people would be like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah. No,
You know what I
there
mean?
was no that guy moment for me. But he got ripped in half. I was like, oh, so then he punched the dude in the face
I
and
will say that about this time. So like I thought the creature looked good. I thought most of the monsters looked good, but then at the end where he's transforming, that looked super bad.
well, he's like so I looked at it like this. So the about time we get to the Witcher TV show, you know, I think they have to take an elixir to become like a Witcher. It's not like
Hmm.
in your blood and stuff. So it makes me, I thought they was gonna drain his blood and put it in vials and shit. I was like, what is happening? So, the lady ends up pregnant. He ends up, dying. She's end up pregnant. She the only person that can soothe them with the music. And it was just like, it went so too long. Some of these scenes for me was just like,
Sure.
come on. And she's singing at the end and there's a baby, a bun and oven. But this is like so far into the future, into the past, I was like, well, where do we get to, joining this brotherhood and drinking this stuff and then you're a creature, I don't know. So, but I guess there's tales to tell in between there.
Yeah, I think, just like anything like Lord of the Rings, Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones, um, any of those kind of like things that even Harry Potter,
Hmm.
where you just have this big world that at this point it's established. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can say like, and then here's the Fantastic Beasts, and then
Yeah.
here's the this the Smog, the Hobbit, instead
Yeah.
of the Lord of the Rings. And then here's, you know what I mean? But I mean,
Yeah.
that's a little bit, but there's a little bit more legitimacy there. But with like in The Witcher, it's just like there's such a big world that of course you can take this little tiny string
Yeah.
and make a whole, if you really wanted to, because all the stuff's already there. You just have to take the baseline and then build off of it.
Well, they showed you what all the monoliths were all about, which was
Yeah,
kind of
it
cool.
was really more like a backstory, but then also at the same time, like I think that this might be referenced in future Witcher stuff because of they were saying like sing the song to like rise the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's gonna come back or not.
Well, Henry Cavill has, the third season, is done, I believe, and the fourth season is supposed to be a different actor, but maybe Henry maybe I can say no, I don't think he's coming back to this. So
You
anyway,
never know, but also I think that because they've already given it to another actor, that'd be difficult. But I do think that like at first I was like, how are they gonna do that? And then I was like, I realized, oh well, there's more than one Witcher.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them, right?
So it's
With
just
the
a different
elixir,
Witcher. Yeah.
So anyway, man, then they had the one scene where the one guy was standing there and he's looking at the little, no, I think he was he was using a book.
Yeah, he's looking at the little girl that we saw
right.
from like the first Witcher
Yeah.
before Henry shows up.
Yeah. So anyway, man, again, my mind didn't change on this. I was very distracted, but it was distracted because it wasn't holding me, but I didn't think it was nowhere near as bad.
Not 13%.
No, hell no, not even close. Not even close. Y'all just need to let up. Y'all just so it's my stuff. It's my whatever, my childhood. Anyway,
My childhood.
You have anything else to say about this one, Tiff?
I think that like if you can, I'd say just go into it without any kind of expectations. I don't mean good or bad, and I think you might have an all right time.
It was all right. It's all right. It's all right.
There's so many worse things that I have watched.
That's true, but yeah. So anyway, man, that's gonna do it. Next week, man, we're coming back with a little Glass Onionish, man. Something that I'm very interested in because of the Knives Out movie, and I haven't heard a thing about it. So I'm gonna keep it that way throughout this week, so I don't get tainted any kind of way.
Right, keep it
I'm
together.
Fans of Patrol. My name is Montego. With me is my wonderful co-host, Miss Tifflebot. Say goodbye to the wonderful, lovely Tiff.
It's been a pleasure as always.
All right, man, and we'll see you on the flip side. And until next week, we will be
on patrol.
Patrol time.